Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As you guys can see, face cam, this is really what I look like. I literally put my Instagram link in the bio, so I'm pretty sure you guys know what I look like. Yes, I am a dripster, sexy young man. But the reason why I decided to do this for you guys is because I feel like including my reactions on certain things and putting my face in the video would just entertain you guys a lot more, because you guys can actually see the way I react and how I feel. So I feel like this was like a really good idea, but of course this is not perfect. The quality is pretty decent, but later on in the future I'm definitely gonna, you know, fix the background. Things are gonna look a lot better in the future. But this is the first video where I'm actually including my face, so this is gonna be interesting. But anyways, in today's video, we are going to talk about the brand new event boss. So I did my attempts with this boss. If I come over here, I did my attempts with this boss already, and I'm not gonna lie, who made this boss? Like, this boss is just absolutely frustrating. Like, it's just so annoying. Now, before I get into more details and explain my frustration, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. I really appreciate it. And if you guys are new here on the channel, I have a Discord server. So if you guys are interested in joining, I'll post a server link in the comment section down below so that you guys can join up. But anyways, let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and hop right into the video. All right, so when we take a look at this boss's kit, oh man, this boss is annoying. So let's look at his passive, Slimy Skin. When hit with a physical attack, the super giant worm reflects 1000% of its damage taken back to its attacker, then blocks their HP recovery and applies a barrier block debuff for 10 seconds. So looking at his passive, it seems like you can't use a physical damage type unit. Like, if you're using a unit who does physical damage, this boss will do insane damage against that physical damage type unit. So you mostly want to use magic damage type units so that they can actually, avoid this passive, because this passive is absolutely broken. Now let's continue. It says, in addition, the super giant worm is always immune to status effects and the swiftness decrease debuff during the battle. It also cannot recover energy by attacking, taking damage, or eliminating enemies, and it cannot use basic attack. So just looking at this boss's passive, absolutely frustrating, and you guys are going to understand why. But I'll say the most interesting thing about his passive is the 1000% damage reflect when you're using physical damage type units. This basically restricts you from using physical DPS units. Now, if we take a look at its active skill, which is Body Slam, this super giant worm slams its body on the ground to deal 270% of its attack as damage to all enemies, knocking them down for 2 seconds. It recovers 200 energy for each enemy without a barrier damage by this skill. So it's going to recover energy from this active, and it's going to do some pretty insane damage. Now, if we look at Toxic Mucus, the super giant worm spits toxic mucus to deal 200% of its attack as damage to all enemies. The super giant worm steals 20 energy from enemies covered in the toxic mucus every second until the end of the battle. What? Like, when I look at this, I'm like, why? Why would you guys implement that? So basically, he's just gonna continuously steal your energy by, like, he's gonna steal 20 energy every single time throughout the entire battle. You cannot remove this skill. Like, it says that you cannot remove this debuff. So that is annoying. Like, the fact that he's constantly stealing your energy every single time, it's like you're gonna have to use units who can restore energy. For example, Bomb is a perfect unit for this boss because he's going to restore energy, because this 20 energy still is absolutely annoying. Now, if we continue, it says the toxic mucus always lands on the target, but it can be defended against using skills that block projectiles. So if you're using an ally who can block projectile attacks, this is the main reason why you want to use units such as LERO. This is a perfect example as of to why you should use LERO against this boss, because LERO's barrier can block projectile attacks. So yeah, Toxic Mucus, this active skill and the passive is just completely broken. And then when we look at the special move, the super giant worm shoots a spike that is guaranteed to land on an enemy with the highest attack, dealing 1000% of its attack as damage and killing them instantly. Oh boy. All right, let's go and talk about the team comps. Like just reading that, like flashbacks. So this is like an idea as of to what you guys should use. Now I'm not saying that this is the best team comp, but if you are trying to deal some pretty good damage, then this team comp can actually help you deal around like 200 million or 300 million. But if we look at Lero is extremely important against this boss because if we look at his special skill, his special move, his barrier can block projectile attacks. So if you don't want your energy to be constantly stealed, to constantly be stolen by the boss, you want to use Lero because his special move will come in clutch. So Lero extremely important against this boss. And if we look at his passive, he is going to increase magic pierce for your allies. So Lero is extremely important against this boss. Now, if you guys are wondering, should you use a healer? Gusting is a pretty nice healer. Oh, we got to upgrade right here. But Gusting is a good healer, and the reason why is because when we look at his special move, he can basically remove debuffs. But the thing that sucks is the fact that he can't remove the energy, like the fact that the boss is constantly stealing energy. You can't remove that debuff at all, which is really annoying. So I'll say Gusting is mostly good for healing, and on top of that, he's good for the boss that he summons on the battlefield. So Gusting is a really nice healer to use, and you can also use other healers like Evan to counter the one shot. You can also use this character as well, Kunadan. He's a really good unit because I'm pretty sure he can also block projectile attacks. Yes, it says right here, the impenetrable domain blocks projectile attacks. It blocks projectiles fired from the outside of the domain. So this guy really good against this boss because he can block projectile attacks. But I don't have him built, so that's the reason why I'm not even using him. But if you have your Kunadon built, you want to use him. He is really good against this boss. So this is a team comp I'm using. We have Rachel, Birdie, Lero, Gusting, Bomb. Bomb is going to be our energy provider because the boss is going to constantly steal energy, which is annoying. So we need Bomb to restore Rachel's energy and Birdie's energy as well. Birdie basically dealing damage, Rachel dealing damage. Since they're both magic damage type units, Lero is going to increase their magical pierce, which is really nice. So let's go ahead and pop this attempt and let's see how we perform. So I'm going to go ahead and enter battle. Now, if we talk about the debuff, so apparently you can't get a buff. You can only get 2 debuffs from this. So you have to choose which debuff you want. I would rather recommend you guys to go for the decreased evasion because with the decreased swiftness, since the boss is already stealing your energy, you want to go for the evasion because if you're going for that swiftness decrease, then uh Rachel, she's not going to be able to use her special skill that much. So you want to go for the evasion instead. You will take increased damage, but I would recommend you guys to go for decrease evasion instead rather than decrease swiftness. So we're going to go ahead and pop this attempt right here and let's see how well we can perform. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and just leave this in auto. I feel like fighting this boss in auto is way better because auto can instantly trigger your ally. It can instantly trigger their special skill. Because if you put it in manual mode, it's gonna be really hard for you to use your special skill because he's constantly stealing your energy. So you guys can see we're doing some pretty good damage right here. And Bomb got one-shotted, not surprised. And Lero, can he go ahead and provide us a shield right here? One-shotted. I'm gonna go ahead and restart that because I feel like we weren't gonna do a lot of damage right there. But as you guys can see, he can literally one-shot your allies. It is absolutely insane. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this a tip again, but we have to be extremely careful because we do have that decreased evasion. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop it for you guys, and let's see how well we can perform this time. So what we want to do first is we want to go in manual mode. Go in manual mode. We want to pop Verdi skill, pop bomb skill, immediately pop Lero so that we can be immune to the projectile attacks. And we're not going to use gusting yet because no one's HP is really low yet. So we're going to play this patiently. Okay, now we should use gusting heal. All right, as you guys can see, we were literally able to counter that energy, that poison attack that he was going to launch on us. Now we got the barrier. But look at that. You guys see what I'm saying? It is so dumb. So even though you block the projectile attacks, even though you're blocking the attack that he's launching at you and you're using LERO to counter it, you still have to worry about the one-shot attack that he does. It's just crazy. So that's the reason why I say you should use a unit like Evan who can basically counter that one shot. But Gusting, I feel like Gusting is a way better healer. As you guys can see, he did like 810 million healing. But we're gonna go ahead and try Evan out on this team and see if we can actually one shot, if we can counter that one shot, because that one shot is absolutely crazy. So we're gonna use Evan this time and doing the same thing again. We want to make sure that LERO is able to proc that special move immediately so that he won't steal your energy. So we're gonna use Verdi, Rachel, bomb, and then if LERO can actually proc it, there it is. Nice. We proc this the barrier right on time. So now we're playing nice and safe. Okay, now we got the barrier. I feel like we proc the barrier too early. Okay, we still got it in time. Nice. Okay, everything is looking pretty well so far. Let's put the barrier up. There it is. Okay, I feel like Evan is actually the way to go. All right. But LERO wasn't able to proc that energy. You guys can see, right? Like I can't even proc my skills. You see? So LERO is extremely important against this boss. I'll say like out of every character, LERO is important. But as you guys can see, we hit 415 million damage. But you guys basically get the idea. You want your LERO to constantly use his special skill so that the boss won't steal your energy, because if you don't proc LERO's special skill on time, the boss is going to keep stealing your energy over and over and over again. So you really want to use LERO in this team. Like LERO is just a must-have unit against this boss. If you don't have him, it's not going to look too good. And Evan actually did perform well right there. So I will say in terms of healing, Gusting is better. But when it comes to countering the one shot with the tentacle attack, Evan is indeed the best choice. So that is pretty much like the team comp that I'm using so far. You guys, if you guys have any other recommendations, please put it down in the comment section down below. But like I said, the characters that you mostly want to focus on against this boss is Kunadon, Birdie, Rachel, Bomb, LERO, Evan, Gusting, and another, like basically multiple other magic damage type units who can actually deal some pretty good damage. But when it comes to bosses, I feel like the best units, like the best magic damage type units against bosses is Rachel and Verdi. Like they're just the best and they're the go-to when it comes to dealing insane damage against bosses. So this is pretty much a team comp that I wanted to show you guys. And will I say that this is the worst boss in the game? Nah, I'm not gonna say this is the worst one, because the worst one we did have was the Gray Demon. The Gray Demon was toxic. That boss was absolutely terrible. You guys already know how I felt about that boss. He was just trash because he had tears and a whole bunch of nonsense. But I feel like this boss is really easy to understand, and as long as you have LERO, then you're good to go. So hopefully this was able to help you guys out, and I'll be ending the video at that. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll be catching you guys on the next one. Peace.